This is a free sample of the book, Reinvent Ideal, What to Do When You're Depressed and No One Cares Because You're Not a Chick, by Cairo Copeland. The first half of this book is posted right here on YouTube, free for everyone to listen to. If you like this content and want to hear or read the rest, or want to listen to it free of ads, visit reinventideal.com/ideal. The book is available on Kindle, paperback, and Audible at reinventideal.com/ideal.
Chapter 5. The Loveless Relationship. Reclaiming the Frame. Many guys will discover the red pill at a time that they feel it is too late. I'm talking about when they are already in a committed relationship or marriage with a woman that doesn't respect them, with a woman who controls the frame, with a woman that never has sex with them, or if she does, it's the disappointing starfish sex that no one enjoys. Maybe these guys had everything else going for them, except their relationships. They may have respectable jobs, been responsible their whole lives, have a tremendous savings and security cushion, all the things they should have to be respected. But their woman does not respect them. Before, she used to look up to him and admire. Now she bosses him around, nags him nonstop, belittles him in front of others, speaks badly about him behind his back, and denies him anything he ever asks for. The terrible conditions for this man often inspire him to cheat. But you can bet that if cheating is ever discovered, the onlookers will always blame him for being a sex-perverted pig, rather than the woman for denying him some very basic, bare minimum needs in a relationship. At some point, in the eyes of the social imperatives and the Fempowerment Mandate, a man needs to learn that sex with his woman was merely a temporary privilege she could rescind at any time of her choosing without consequence. And if he has a problem with that, then he's just not a good man, not a real man. For the man that's just in a mere relationship with her, well, he has an easy out. He can just dump her. But that becomes more difficult when you're cohabitating, so never do that. And it becomes further difficult and expensive when you're married to her. Far too many assumptions made early on in courtship turned out to be false. Relationships and marriages themselves are great big assumptions. When going into them, you're assuming that your partner sees your bonding the same way you see it. After those bonds are finalized, and you find the assumptions to not be true, conflicts are created, but clarity is never attempted. Worse yet, many guys continue to stay in these unhealthy relationships and continue to take the disrespect and emotional abuse. When entering a relationship, you need to justify it to yourself, so you only see what you want to see and deny the things you don't like. They assume things like, oh, my love will change this person, but it never does. And this is realized when it's far too late. So how do we fix this? First, with a purpose. The first thing you need is a goal, a mission, a purpose, something to give meaning and happiness to your life in the way that your woman failed to do. The goal is never to be something vague like mere self-improvement or become better at something. It must be something specific. It's a murky end state to say you want to be rich. How do you even define that? But it's clear and precise to say you want to be rich enough to quit your job, because for that, you must have a certain number of dollars in assets, earning a certain amount of interest to cover your certain number of expenses. Very specific. Many men have no such goal. In their lives prior, they merely never had to have one. They were bossed around, pushed around to bring other people's goals to reality. At work, it's all about making your boss rich. They make $1 while you make a dime. In your relationship, it was all about making your woman happy. Happy wife, happy life, they say. Now, change that to happy me, happy life. What goal needs to be achieved to make that a reality? Never make improving your relationship the goal either. Relationships are the work of women. If she doesn't cherish it or find value in it, there's simply nothing that can be done to alter her attitude. If we must be generic, then ultimately the goal is to be a man that commands greater respect, a man with options, a man with abundance, a man that she wishes she was good enough to keep. Right now, it may be over with this woman, but on the bright side, this woman serves a purpose. She's your dummy to practice on. So the next woman you're with is one that you can maintain control of the frame with. Don't let this opportunity to learn how to tame a shit-testing bitch go to waste. Next step, shut the fuck up. Embrace the ability to keep your trap shut, particularly when you are adopting a red pill mindset. Do not ever disclose that to a woman, especially your own. Women want you to instinctually know this information, but they don't want you to learn it. They think you shouldn't have to learn it. How many times have you found yourself in a situation with her where she expected you to read her mind? They assume this catch-22 is totally reasonable to expect. It will never help you to disclose the source of information of your wisdom. If they knew you were reading this book, well, during each interaction with her, she will ask herself, is it really him saying this? Or is it because Cairo told him to say that? Her assumption will always be that you weren't competent enough on your own, therefore you're not competent in general. It's an unfair presumption, but it's based on the fact that the majority of the male population is subpar to their standards. Validation is something you should never verbally provide to her, and it is something you should never verbally seek from her. Do not tell her that you're on a new self-improvement kick or turning over a new leaf. She will take that as you using her to be your surrogate mother, there to congratulate you on any mediocre move you make. Worse yet, she may see it as you seeking permission from her to do for yourself what's best for you. It reminds her that she owns the frame, which comes with so much power that she will abuse. Next step is the shit test trap. Why do women test men? It happens all the time. You feel like you're put in a position to defend yourself, despite not even knowing what it was you could have done. The accusing woman is already deeply convinced you've committed an unforgivable sin. Sometimes they do it unwittingly, as it is just deeply ingrained in their nature to do it. But other times, they know they are doing it, and how best to get the best of you. It's a survival mechanism of the weaker sex. Evolution dictates that since they have the burden of childbearing, you must carry the burden of rising to the occasion, producing the output of two people. They're testing you to see if she can be vulnerable with you without losing her security. During child rearing, she is defenseless. The only source of protection she has is you. Now, that's not entirely true in today's world with technology and luxury everywhere, but it was certainly true during caveman hunter-gatherer days, which went on for a long time, longer than our present luxurious lifetimes. So it was burned into our brains and behaviors to expect this. Even if the woman has no plans nor desires to have children, she will test you nonetheless. She must know you fit the bill of her needs. She must know you are grounded in your strength and will not crack. If all of her bitchiness and disrespectful behavior does not shake you, then the world may not either, with all its cruelty and carelessness. Inside their heads, they are asking, are you the true strong badass that I can rely on? Since most guys fail these tests, it's very easy to describe how they do that. The fastest way to failure is to get defensive and provide excuses or attempt to reason with her or to explain yourself. They have a term for this, which they call mansplaining. To put it into terms that we understand, mansplaining is any logical point that certifies the validity of our side of the argument that they, the woman, chooses to ignore. That's defending, excusing, reasoning, and explaining. Now, since those four things will be so quickly dismissed, it's a waste of your breath and brain power to do any of them with her. Defensive behavior or attempt to reason are done out of fear. If you're doing them, it's because you fear losing her approval. You're attempting to limit the damage. In courts, the defendant is presumed innocent until proven guilty, but in a woman's mind, the defendant is already guilty even after he proves his innocence. There is no way to get off the hook in the court that occurs in her mind, so don't try. What's better to do is to recognize how foolish her line of thinking is and consider it beneath you. A coaching client of mine, Connor, was in a relationship with a crazy daddy issues girl, Samantha. She would often accuse him of being unloyal to her if he was active on Instagram. She presumed he was on there looking at other girls, waiting for his chance to trade up. Now, Connor deeply loved her and bent over backwards to try to convince her that it was not the case. She never relented nor adopted reason in the matter. What should have been Connor's mindset? Even if her accusations were true, what is she doing? She's getting upset about the fact that he's, wait for it, looking at pictures. Now, what kind of psychopath gets upset over that? One that is not worthy of acknowledgement. When he wanted to go hang out with his guy friends, she'd bitch him up for that too. You're going out with your friends again? You had to pick the night to do that? You knew I had a bad day today, and that I need you here with me, but you still insist on pulling this? He'd assume the role of defense and tell her, it's been a while since I've seen them. It's just a few hours. Is it really all that bad? Seems like perfect logical reasoning, but it meant nothing to a woman that is using angry shouts and tearful sobs to make her side of the argument. The proper way to handle this when she starts her testing, you're going out with your friends again, is to respond with, yep, sorry you had a bad day. Love you, see you later. Give her a kiss, then a slap on the butt, and walk away. The only person that's allowed to have any sort of say over what you do with your limited time in life is you, and there is no need to ever attempt to defend what you decide. End of discussion. That is the type of man she will respect. She may bitch about him, but she respects him. Just as you cannot negotiate or buy desire, you also cannot negotiate her respect. Do not teach her to believe that you are afraid of her emotional outbursts. Otherwise, she will use them to get away with whatever she wants. Next thing you do is start lifting. Need a purpose still? Well, here's one that every man needs. Lift heavy weights. There is nothing that we as men can do that isn't improved upon by building muscle. Eat clean and lift heavy weights. Now look at yourself in the mirror, completely naked, and ask yourself, would you fuck you? If the answer is no, how can you expect anyone else to? This is probably another reason why your relationship is sexless. If you saw a guy that looked completely out of shape with a hot girl in his arm, what would you think? He's her sugar daddy, or she's his escort. If you do not look fuckable, why on earth would you ever expect that woman you live with to gleefully go down on you? Whether she eventually does or does not, the good news is by you working out and getting leaner and stronger, other women will want to. This is to rekindle the inspiration of competition anxiety in her, which prompts her to give you the sex so as not to lose you to them. Now, do not start cycling, do not start running, do not sign up for a spin class, and do not do push-ups in your bedroom. Instead, lift, because there's a huge difference. You're not doing this to burn fat. You're doing this to burn muscle. Ironically, the best way to burn fat is to build muscle. And building muscle is really hard to fail at so long as you're consistently hitting the gym. Lifting gives you an opportunity to clear your mind. When the only thing standing between 150 pounds of iron and your face is your focus, that's all you're thinking about. You're not wasting time and thoughts about what your wife approves of. You're not thinking about your ex, and you're not stressing over the bills. If you have those stressors, this is the best way to deal with them. What next? Well, there's your 5 currencies. You as a man have 5 things you can spend on others in hopes of getting something in return from them. They are your time, energy, attention, money, and commitment. Ask yourself, the way you're spending them currently, what do you get in return for them? Imagine you're married and you want to have sex with your wife, but she gives you an excuse from her long list of excuses. Oh, I have a headache. I'm tired. I need to sleep. I'm on my period. For the 3rd time this month. Or any other bullshit excuse. The truth hidden behind all these excuses is that she doesn't want to have sex with you because she's no longer attracted to you. But what do most guys do? Well, they surrender the frame to her. They'll say, it's okay, we can just cuddle instead. Deep down, they're really bitter and sulking, but never let her see that. They dare not express it. He tries to convince himself that he's happy with the few crumbs that fall from the master's table. They'll never talk about it with her because they fear it further delays future fucking. But what they don't realize is that this future fantasy of getting access to her lady parts is already never to be. Instead, what the cunning man will do is use her cock-blocking bitchiness to his advantage. He sets his gym bag by the door. He plans to go there after dinner unless something else happens. What is that something else? Sex with his wife. He's flirted her up throughout the day. Now, after dinner, he's ready to make his move, and when she turns down his advances and gives a bullshit excuse, he simply says, all right, and goes to the door, grabs his bag, and heads to the gym. He leaves with a smile and he comes back with a bigger one. She probably inquires if he's mad, to which he responds, should I be? In his mind, she did him a favor, because pent-up frustration is an excellent fuel for heavy lifting. And he's maintaining the frame. He's going to the gym because it's the time that he goes. He's doing what he wants to do and what is the most valuable thing for him in that moment. He's not staying at home with a disrespectful woman hoping a crumb from her falls his way. He gave her one opportunity to have a little bit of his time. If it's not going to be spent doing what he wants to do, he'll find something else of value instead. She gets a chance to have some of his time, but she doesn't get to monopolize it. Now, perhaps she'll start bitching about the fact that he spends more time at the gym than he does with her, so his time and attention suddenly have value to her now. Before, she could easily pass them up. Now she's complaining that she's not getting them. He says in response, "You want them? You know what you need to do. This is what controlling the frame looks like. Apply it to all matters of your life." It's likely that she will not surrender the frame, and that's all right. It's more likely she'll just break up with you. But here, you will find that it is better to lose the relationship than it is to lose the frame. Staying in a relationship just because you need love isn't worth it. Love is not all you need. You need to be respected. You need your time respected. You need and deserve happiness. If she'd rather dump you than submit to you, good, let her go. She's served her purpose of being your sparring partner to practice with. That way, during your next relationship with a new woman, you won't fuck it up. Use to your advantage these things that are supposed to be setbacks. Your bitchy wife or girlfriend that no longer respects you and has a loveless relationship with you, use her to make yourself a better man for the next woman. Her rejections at your attempts to have sex, use that frustration from them as fuel for the gym. Her shit tests, use them as practice at not letting them bother you, because your next woman will test you as well. For those of you that did get married, you will do just fine to let her leave. Sure, you'll be paying a lot in terms of alimony and settlement, but let those payments serve as a reminder to you of the lessons you learned the hard way. As women initiate most divorces, it's not like you'll have a choice. Don't fight her. She probably caught on to the fact that you were using her bitchiness to your betterment and got upset by that. For those of you that were smart enough not to get married, you left yourself an out. Use it. Don't ever be afraid to use it. Walking away from what you don't want is deepening the commitment to what you do want. It's telling the universe that you will not blindly adhere to the randomness it deals out, so it better start dealing you more favorably, because any more shit will be sent back to the kitchen. The concept of nexting is best learned as early as possible. It will save you so much time, money, and emotional stress. Walk away. Don't be afraid to. Don't waste time wondering how it might have gone had you stayed. If she had any desire for you, she'll show it as you're walking away and want you back. If she doesn't ever, you would have wasted your time by staying.
Thank you for listening to this free sample of the book, Reinvent Ideal: What to Do When You're Depressed and No One Cares Because You're Not a Chick, by Cairo Copeland. If you enjoyed it and want to hear or read the rest, or want to listen to it free of ads, visit reinventideal.com/ideal. The book is available on Kindle, paperback, and Audible at reinventideal.com/ideal.